Hi there, very good day to you. Thank you very much for joining us today in your education management, change management in education, in fact. So now let's see. In the past, the previous session, we learned about the needs of changes in education settings, in educational institutions, in teaching, learning, and the practices of education. We know many things are happening. Examples would be AI, involvement of AI, emergence of ChatGPT from OpenAI, emergence of Copilot from Microsoft. There are so many options, so many AI tools. They help students to do assignments so that students may have some free rights. There is an issue, there is a change, or there is some change that's happening in organizations or in education setting. So we need to have some solution for it. This is one of the examples. And we learned many learning from home, learning, online platforms. We talked about it, holistic learning. We talked many times about these changes. Okay, so if you are an institution, if you are handling students, teaching people, you may encounter these kind of problems. So we need changes. So if you don't do changes, you will go out of the business. If you don't do something about how to deal with the AI usage of students in assignments, you will have to go out of business because your quality will go low. You give a big assignment, you allow them 3 weeks of time to do the work, but they do that within 3 hours and give it to you because AI does the work for them. And if you don't do changes about your usual practice to deal with this AI, you will go out of business because you are killing your college. Okay, so this is one issue. And again, we talked about this holistic learning, where we talked about the learning is not limited to your physical or your subject material. It is much more than that. You may lead about leadership. You may learn about leadership. You may learn about team ability. You may learn about uh, working with people and so on. Socialization. These are all part of it when we call the holistic learning. So here we need to do some changes in our practices to teach students much more than the subject matter. Okay, so we need some changes here. And when it comes to online, we know online platforms are here that help people to teach, that help universities to make the lecturer to meet with the students on the platform. And if you don't adapt one, you will have to go out of business. And whatever the platform you have now, there are developments, there are changes, there are modifications that are happening. If you don't adapt those, you may have to go out of business. So this is why we need to analyze the changes and we need to adapt those changes. Okay, that is what we learned. That is what we learned in the past. Now, tonight's topic is about the models of change management. So let me explain this to you using a couple of examples in here. For example, let's say you're teaching your students physically in your class. So in your class, you have a whiteboard, maybe you have a computer, and you have a PowerPoint projector, and that's the basics of it. So you use it. So your lecturers are capable of using the computer, using the PowerPoint or some other alternative to PowerPoint projector, maybe the interactive whiteboard on the wall, or maybe a white board, just a whiteboard right on, and maybe another couple of instruments that you have. But if you don't bring in the smart board into the classroom, if you don't bring in the platform to get the students to meet you on the platform, you will go out of business. But your lecturers, when you bring in the smart board, that is a different gadget or different device. It has different options there. It has different softwares in it, different applications in it. And if you see all of this, it may be very difficult for you to handle. A lecturer at his late 60s, 70s, he may be reluctant to learn these new IT technology. He may be not good enough or not fast enough to learn these applications, these softwares, these platforms. He may not know how to upload assignments. He may not know how to upload the the PowerPoint, the LMS. He may not know how to download the assignments of his students to mark those and so on. So you need trainings. So your staff have to change the way they teach, the way they meet the students, the way they deliver the materials of teaching. So you have to change, your organization have to change in order to survive. You have to bring in smart boards, you have to bring in platforms, you have to bring in detectors, AI detectors or plagiarism detectors and so on to your practice. When you bring this in, your lecturers are not familiar with all these new things because they also need to definitely change. So they need to change themselves. They need to learn many new things. Okay. So organizations, educational organizations specifically, what they do, they seek and search for changes so that they can be at the cutting edge. They can be outstanding. They can stand out of the other organizations with some new technology, with some new differentiation. So you can teach your students better, and you can survive your business. You can make more money. If you want to do this changes, it is not about just bringing all the softwares. It's not only about bringing all the devices. It's about training your employees, your lecturers, your coordinators, your academic staff, your non-academic staff, everyone to use those, to apply those, to do these new things. So we need to change the people. So when I mean change in education, it is about changing the people inside. Lecturers have to change the way they do lecturing, the way they make materials. For example, in earlier days, we used to make PowerPoints using only PowerPoint. Now there are so many alternatives to make PowerPoints. In the PowerPoint itself, you can make some videos inside. Okay, some teaching uh, videos, short videos, podcasts. You can make 2, 3 minutes video clips inside the PowerPoint so that you can play that as well. Those PowerPoints, those videos, you may get one from YouTube from the others, or you may make one in yourself on yourself as well. You may make one video clip, you record it, you do some recordings of you, and you edit that, you put the materials or images in that one, you make this edition, and then you make a video clip, and then you publish it or you show it to your students, teach them. This is not easy. This is not easy. So people need to do some changes. It is not only about making PowerPoints. You have to make some video clips now. Is it easy? You have to use some video editing software. So that's not easy. It's very difficult. However, your staff have to do some changes. Okay, so that's the main point. Staff have to change. Now, when you mean change to the staff, nobody likes changes. Nobody likes it. People, they are comfortable with their status quo, with their the surrounding circumstances. We are so comfortable, and they don't want to do different things. Okay, they don't want to do changes in their life. That is the setting mindset of human being. Let's say, for example, what do you eat daily? Rice and curry. Okay, you may change one today chicken, maybe beef or mutton tomorrow. The day after it may be fish, and then again you come back to chicken. And rice is always there. Rice is always there. So this is your daily practice. You are comfortable cooking this and you are comfortable eating this. Okay, but if you want to cook something instead, some pizza today or some other different variety of food, that's not going to be an easy day for you. You bring in lots of ingredients, you put them together, you wake up early in the morning, you look at YouTube and read what to do, how to do, and you eat your hour, you grill at home, and then you burn your food first, and then you learn how to do it. And the first food is not properly cooked, second food is better than the first one, the last one may be the best one out of both those you cooked. At the end of the cooking, you would say, I would never do this cooking again because it's something new. You're not comfortable doing this. So this is how in universities, in organizations, things happen. When you have new things, you don't like it. Okay, you say you try it out, you try to make one media clip and show it to the students. They try to do that, finally you say, I give it up. It's difficult for me, man. I can't make this video, it's difficult. I can't make my voice, I can't make my presence before camera, I can't do this edition, I can't bring in images and so on, merge them all together, get a proper sound system and so on. It's not easy. So you say it's difficult and you give it up. So this is how it happens when organizations bring in new changes. people, they resist. They say, no, I don't. This is what we do now is better. That's okay. We have been doing it for years and years. Why do we need this new platform? Get the students on the classroom, in the classroom on board. We don't need to meet them online. We don't need to use this LMS, learning management systems, or other platforms. Okay, I'll explain everything to them. I don't need to do some video clips in here. So they are reluctant. Okay? But the problem is, people are reluctant. Companies, they want to do changes. Companies, they want to bring in new platforms. Companies want the lecturers to make video clips to the students. But teachers, lecturers, they don't want the platform because it is difficult for them to handle. A youngster would do, but you will have 80% of staff. They refuse 80%. Usually 80% of staff, they refuse it. Okay, they say they're not happy about the change. So they say no. They do things against it. They make rumors. They make statements against it. They go against the team. They are implementing these kind of changes. So they don't. Okay, but organizations, they are reluctant as well because they want to survive. If you don't bring in the LMS, if you don't bring in video clips, if you don't bring in holistic teaching methodology, you would not get customers to learn from you. So you will automatically go out of business without doing anything wrong. You don't do anything. You don't do anything wrong. You usually do what you do. You usually practice what you practiced in the past. And because of that, you go out of business. Okay, so you used to teach using Blackboard, using whiteboard. You don't do anything. You just continue using whiteboard. If you don't adapt a smart board, you will go out of business. So did you do anything wrong? Nothing. You practiced in the past for 10 years, last 10 years, you used a whiteboard, and now also use the same whiteboard. That is not right now, it is wrong. You do the same. So you did not do anything wrong. What you did, you used the same thing without any changes. You never updated yourself. You never have some upgrading of yourself. You never want to use a smart board. You never want to use a LMS. Because of that, you go out of business. I want to study in a university where they use digital boards, smart boards. I want to study in a university. They give us some online support. So I don't want to select a university where I have to definitely go inside the classroom every day. And I have to be in the class. I have to wash the lecturer's handwriting on the whiteboard and so on. No. So what I do as an organization, I need the students to learn the way I teach with a modern way after changes. I want my lecturers to do the changes that I want so that I can make both of them meet in a comfortable way. So when the lecturers say no, I'm not going to leave them. I'm going to change them to do this new thing. So what happens here? How to change people. That is the topic. Okay, so I'm going to use a couple of models, couple of theories, or couple of tools to change people. Okay, so organizations, especially institutions, universities, they want to bring in changes inside. But when you bring in these changes, people inside the organization, your lecturers, your academic staff, and non-academic staff, they don't want to take that change because it is difficult for them. They are comfortable with what they are doing, so they refuse. They resist. When they resist, you never leave them. What you do, you change them. And how to change those people. Okay, that is what we're going to have a look at. And there are models. Okay, right here. Let me have the first model, McKinsey's 7S framework. McKinsey's 7S framework. You have lots of YouTubes made on this. You can listen to those. You have different lecturers. They're giving different explanations in different ways that will be useful to understand. And I'll explain this in my way. Okay. In any organization, in any university, we have uh, a structure. Okay, structure means who is on top of your university, maybe the faculty, dean, the vice chancellor first, and then the dean after that. After the dean, you will have these academic head, senior lecturers, and so on, coordinators, demos. You have the structure. Okay, these are the people, right? And the systems that we have in the university, When I mean systems, let me explain one of it. Your assignment marking is a system. There is a way to mark assignments. How does that work? Right now, let's say I teach the subjects, and after teaching, I discuss the assignments, and I give you the assignment to you. And you take the assignment home, you write your answers, and you send that for review. We review the answers, and you take the plagiarism report from the post manager. And with that report, you send it to us. We review it, and we do reviews one, two, three, back and forth. And finally, when we complete the review, when the lecturer is happy about the assignment's answer, they say, okay, this answer is better now, you can submit. So what you do, you go to LMS and you submit it. After the submission, lecturers, they download the assignment from their login and they mark it and they give the result to you. This is the system of marking assignments. And again, if you join this university, they give you a registration link. You register your name there and your address and so on. You give the basic information, and after that, they send you an admission to you. You look at the admission. If you're happy, if you want to continue the course, you sign the admission and you send that admission back to the university. And after that, they'll send you an email to send all your document for your personal file. This is a system of admission. When we release the results, the first marker marks it, and after that, the second marker marks it, and after that, the final marker, the third marker, he marks it. It is the university. So that is the system of it. When we mark the assignment, when we give the result, if you are not happy about it, if you want to appeal against it, there is a way, there is a system. You have to, there's the form, you have to fill that in, you have to forward that to the admin department, and they review that assignment. They might another lecturer, a third party lecturer, to have a look at the assignments, and he looked at it and so on, and he will give the result. So based on that, we can make a complaint against the result. Okay. And again, what else? Anything, whatever that happens in the university, there is a way, there's a route map, there's a process one by one, first step, second step, third step, and the final step that way. So that is a system. Okay. And the next thing is the uh, about the skills. Now, when I'm talking about the universities staff and their skills. Okay, now I'm talking about changing people. People with skills, they may change easily. Let's say if you're introducing some AI related instruments, AI related gadgets or devices or softwares to teach your students, uh, you may need your students, you may need your students, you may need your students to have some skills, computer skills. You may need your lecturers to have some skills to do this computing, these softwares and so on. So if the skill level of the staff is high, if the skill level of your student is high, you can easily change them. Otherwise, it's difficult. Okay. And when I mean shared value is about when you do the changes, that change has a value. Some people they value it, and some people they devalue it. Example, let's say if I say to my friends, I'm going to move to another country. Okay, when I say this, one of my friends would say, "As a great country, go there, stay there. You can have your life better. You can have high life standards." So he values it. And some other friend he would say, "No, I've been to that country before. There are no good people. It's very difficult. The weather condition is very bad. You don't have any jobs there. It's difficult for you to make your life better. What you do here is not." So two different values. When I say I'm going there, one guy appreciates. He says it's good. The other guy says no. The same thing applies when you bring in some change to your organization, some new softwares or new application or new anything. When you bring it in, some lecturers, some students, they value, they say it's good, and some others they say no. Okay, they say it's not good. So the value uh, differ person to person. If you have higher value towards a change, it will be easy for you to change the people. And finally, the strategy of an organization is this. Organizations, they have strategies, they have tactics, they have techniques to stay in the business. to get more students learn from, to get more students to qualify from, to minimize the dropout of the students. So they have strategies. Some universities, they have strategies. They give cheaper price for the students so that students can come and study because less price. Some universities, they have a strategy that they bring in quality lecturers. So the lecturers are very highly qualified. Because of that, students, they choose the university. So that's not about money, it's about the quality. They may pay any amount of money, but the quality of teaching, quality of learning is very high. That is a strategy some universities they have so that they can attract people to learn from. Some universities they use technology. We are tech-savvy institution. We use technology to mark your assignments, to do the exams. We do exams using technology. When you do your exams, we'll give you the result at the end of your exam. 1 second, when you submit your answers, you get the marks. Okay. So earlier days, we used to have only MCQ questions like that. You have MCQ questions. When you have MCQ questions, when you mark all your answers, you get the result at the end of the day, at the end of the exams immediately. But now, if you write answers, writing answers, structured questions, or essay questions as well, they give you marks immediately. So that is technology. Now, a university might have a strategy to bring in all sort of technologies so that students may prefer to study because very fast to learn, very fast to get the result, and so on. So that's a strategy. Okay, staff. When I mean staff, the people inside. Okay, who they are. Are they old? Are they young? Are they qualified enough? Are they having a good mindset to do this and stuff? Okay, so these are the areas that we need to consider when we talk about the change. Right. When I want to introduce some IT softwares, I need to look into the staff. Who are they? Will they do this change? Will they be able to take this change? Do they have the skills? Do they value this introduction of new change? Okay, new system. Will they do anything against it, or will they accept it? Okay, will the software make any problem to the existing system? Earlier days we had the system, now we have a different system. It may be this. I'll take an example for that as well. What we do, we review your assignments manually. Now you write your answers and you send that to us, email that to us, and we review it. We have a look at it. We physically, manually, uh, humanly, we read that and we give you an idea about what you have written. Now, if we introduce an IT system, you submit your assignment to the system will tell you if the assignment is right or wrong. So it's a new system now. So no sending it to us. Okay, you give it to the system, to the software, the application. You upload your assignment, and you get the result. It's a new system. So this new application of this IT or this AI supported application, will that make any impact in the existing system? These are all things we need to look into, okay, before we do the change. Otherwise, you won't be able to do it. Let's say you want to bring in a big thing, and your people are not skilled enough. So how can you do it? Recently, in a country, they want to introduce an online payment system on the spot if you commit any traffic offenses. If you ride your car or bike without the proper documents, if you ride your car or vehicle over speed, those kind of things, when you do this, you may get stopped by the police. And the police stops you, they may give you some spot fine. And earlier days, this country, what they do, they take your license and they give you a fine paper, piece of paper that gives you the fine. You go to the post office, or you go to a nearer police station, you make the payment, and you come back to the policeman, you collect your license. That's the process earlier. Now you want to introduce a mobile app. So you ride your car. If any problem happens, if the police stops you, if you confess your mistake, they give you a spot fine, and then you make the fine online and you drive away. If you introduce this, okay, would that be possible for a country like India, for a country like Sri Lanka? Do everyone have smartphone? Do you have internet access to everyone at any place of your country? Is it possible? And would they be able to use credit cards to make the payment online? You have to check all of it before you bring this change. Okay. Otherwise, you can't implement it. Let's say 50% of the people they have a smartphone, they can do certain things.
They can do the payment online, but 50% they don't know how to download an app. They don't know how to set an application to create an account for them just in case if they want to make any payment, any fine payment to these traffic offenses. And they don't know. So how are you going to bring the change? So you need to know about this. If you know people, they don't have enough knowledge about it, you may train the people first. You tell them, this is the application, this is what we're going to do, it's going to come like this, and then you have to support. Okay. So when you do this, you would definitely change the people. So this is how, this is why before we bring in any change, maybe you may bring in a change in your family. For example, what time do you wake up early in the morning? What's the time? Everyone else, just have a look. Just bring that image to your brain. Say, what time do you wake up? What time does your husband or your partner wakes up? And what time your kids? What time your mother? What time is your coffee? Bad coffee is made, and who is making it? These are all crucial things. If your timing is 7 o'clock, the first one to up is you, and you wake up at 7 o'clock. That is the earliest person in the morning. And if you want to do a change in your family, I want to make my family to wake up at 6 o'clock, 1 hour earlier than your usual time. It's a big change. Not easy, not easy, very difficult. Okay. So you have to look into, do they have the capacity to be up at 6 o'clock? Okay, can they do it? Do they have the mindset? Do they value this? If we wake up early in the morning, 1 hour, we can have a longer day. We can do a lot of things. We can do lots of studies because that time is so fresh. You can seal the materials that you learn very permanently in your brain. So I need to be up at 6 o'clock. Some people they value, some others they would say, my sleep of this 1 hour is more valuable than waking up early in the morning and then your studies and so on. So they would say, no, most of the people, you try it out. If you want to get a family up 1 hour early, you try it out and see how it comes how to do, how it turns out to be. Have a look at it. So some people they value it. Some people say no. Some people say yes. Some people say let's see. Okay, that's that way, halfway down. They have some this way or that way, either in between. So this is the problem. Okay, so before you bring in any change in any system, in any family, in any organization, in any institution, in any university, you have to look into all these areas: the system, the structure, the strategy, the skill, staff, style, shared value, all these things. Based on this condition, you have to set your change because your change is inevitable. You cannot avoid the change. You need to bring in technology. You need to bring in new changes in your education. Otherwise, you will go out of business. Okay, so change is inevitable. You can't compromise. You can't ignore changes. You have to bring the change. When you bring in the change, you have people inside. They trouble you. They come against you. They resist you. So you cannot simply say, okay, fine. If you don't want to change, you just stay as you are. No, you can't do it. So you need to change. So before you bring the change, learn the people, learn the structure, learn the system. Accordingly, you send your change message. So that will be easy. Okay, this theory is done by McKenzie, and we call this McKenzie's 7S framework. The reason is because there are 7 S's. Okay, here 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 plus 4 is 7. Now here there is 3S, which is 3 S's in fact. This is the hard S, and the other one is the soft S. What is the meaning of that? Let me explain that to you. That's the end of it. When I mean the hard S is something that you can see. Hard S, hard is something that you can feel. You can do some modification. You can do some correction. You can exactly measure what it is. But a soft skill is difficult to measure because it is something invisible. It is something that you can't touch and feel. You can only learn about it with interaction. Okay, let me explain this to you using a couple of examples in detail to explain what it means. Now, when I mean hard S and the soft S, okay, let me take this example. Let's say I'm a lecturer. In fact, I'm a university. Then I want to recruit a lecturer to teach some subject. So I call an application and I send out an advertisement. I have a vacancy for lecturers, and this is the position, this is the this salary, this is the payment, this is the holiday, this is the package. If you have the qualification to meet this requirement, please apply with it. So that is the advertisement. When I make the advertisement, people apply. Okay, so when people apply, I look into all those applications. I will get about 25 applicants. So I need only one lecturer. Out of 25, I have to select one of those. So how do I do? I don't randomly pick one of them. I just click a coin. You can say, okay, I pick you out of this 25. I need the fifth application, and that's the application I want to. You're the lecturer. The rest of them I reject. I never do like this. What I do, I go through their CVs, I go through their certificates, their qualifications, and I call them for interview. And I speak to them, I ask them questions, and I do certain tests. I may bring them to one of my lecture halls and let him teach, make him to teach. So they will teach. And my students may give some feedback as well if they understand teaching good and so on. Yeah. Okay. So we do a lot of tests. Right? When we do the test, out of this 25, we give marks for these tests, and finally we pick one of them, and because he scored more marks. Okay. The question is, out of 25, you pick one of those, and you think it is the right fit, it is the best fit, it is the top most person out of these 25 applicants, and you pick him. After you recruit him, you give him the appointment, and you give him the assignment, you give him the class. This is the subject, can you please teach? When he goes to the class to students, they reject him immediately and say, this lecturer doesn't have the knowledge, he can't teach, we don't need him, we need a different lecturer. Then you would say, I don't think he is a good lecturer, let me come to the lecture hall next time. I sit with you in the classroom and let's have a look. So next day, we call the same guy. He'll be having his subject. I just go there and sit in the classroom to see what he does. And when he is teaching, I myself feel that no, he is not the right one. You might have lost another better person than him while you do the tests to select the guy. Okay, why this happens? You make mistakes in selecting people. The reason is because you can only test the hard side of the people. You cannot test the soft sides of them immediately without any experience or interaction. Okay, I see your certificate, and that certificate says you have a degree, bachelor's degree in business management, a bachelor's degree in education. So you have the qualification. That is the hard side of it. Everybody can show one certificate, and that is yes, you have the certificate. Okay, but teaching is a different art that is connected to your soft skill. I cannot test it, I cannot check it unless I learn from your class. It takes time. You may do best preparation for your first class, second class, and when the class goes on and on, you may fall, you may decline in your quality. You don't know. Okay, and the words that you use in your first class is more controlled, more disciplined. But when things goes far, you may misuse your words. You may do wrong words to students. You may use abusive language in your class. How can I test this? But can I have a lecturer? He is using abusive language in the class. Again, the answer is no. These things are difficult to judge unless I put him in the classroom for some times. So you can learn the soft side of a personnel with experience with them, not through any tests. Now we see practically. I heard in cities where marriages, the rate of marriages are lower than the rate of divorce. Okay, divorce rates high. In this year, if you do 100 marriage registrations, in the same year, you do 125 divorces of those people they married previous year. Okay, this I'm not joking. This is a reality. Okay, there are so many divorce cases happening. Now, why? The reason is because you find a guy, you find a boy to your girl, to your daughter. Okay, otherwise you're the boy,
and you find a girl for yourself, your family finds a girl for yourself. Otherwise, you both find each other. Girl finds the girl, or the boy, or the boy finds the girl, or whatever. Now, you test each other. Can we live together? Okay. So you can test the hard side of it. What is it? Does he have a good job? Hard side. Does he have some bank account? Yes. Is he driving a good car? Yes. Is he looking handsome? Okay, fine. All these things are okay. So, right, you use others as well to get some opinion. You go to his Facebook, you go to horoscope, you go to all these numerology, you find all these matchmakers to make a decision on that. Their expertise, using their expertise, they say, right match, you can't find a match like this. It is a match, and that is going to be the best couple of the year, or so on. They say all those kind of things. Trusting all these tests, you put them together in the same bed and board. Okay, same room, same bed and board, same dining table, everything's fine. They live for about a couple of days, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, and they immediately come to the courts to file the case to separate them. Why? Because hard side of the test that said yes, but the soft side was not tested because it is not possible to test immediately. When you live together for 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, 25 days, or even 25 years, you live together and finally find out, no, no more. It's not the right match because difficult to study about the soft side of human being. Okay. So it is difficult to study. If it is difficult to study the soft side of the human being, it is difficult for you to change people. It's difficult to bring in a change to your organization. That is why it is challenging. All right. Right. Now, I ask a question to everyone. I think all of you married. Okay. How much have you studied about your husbands? Are they the same person now? Uh, the person you met before your marriage. Before your marriage, you had a perception. After your marriage, you have that is definitely not the one you pursued. It is definitely different, maybe better, maybe not right. I'm not discussing about that, but it's definitely not the same. Okay? Because you could not test it exactly how this guy goes. But his certificates are the same. Okay, his looks are the same. The way he looks, it doesn't make any big change over the years. Okay, right. So this is all, right? So we have to look into all these kind of things before we bring the change, right? This is a theory. When you want to apply this change, when you want to bring in changes to your organization, definitely you have to look into your hard side and the soft side of your organization. Then we can do something about it. It's difficult to judge, difficult to study, but if we know, we can do something about it. So we should definitely know what these SS are, hard and soft SS. Okay. So thank you very much for joining us, and I'll see you with the next theory later.